Hey y'all, it's Terry of My Uncomplicated Life, back with another video for this You Can't series, season 1, episode 8. Yay! Back with another one. So still staying in the flow of just making smart financial decisions for this season. And I think it's just very important. It helps in a lot of different ways. So it's very important, y'all, to take care of your finances. And the topic about finances today I want to talk about is discipline. You can't be undisciplined when you're dealing with money. Because as we've been talking about in this series, money is a resource. It's what God gives us to be able to use to have access to things. And so with that access, having discipline can help a person to manage their money well and to manage their overall life well. You know, discipline is important in every area of life. And an undisciplined person can end up just going kind of recklessly about life and about their finances. And so it's important to be disciplined. It's important to make sure that you have the mindset that you're going to make sure you use the resource well for its intended purpose. And the intended purpose is to, be able to take care of yourself. That's the purpose of it. Take care of yourself, to be able to sustain. And it's good to have that accountability and not be so quick to have this thing where it's all about instant gratification. It's okay to save up for things. It's okay to not get something so fast, Sometimes you got to take your time and do it right, like the song says. Take your time, do it right, so that you can be able to have things at its appointed time. There's one thing about doing something quickly that can affect how a person is able to manage something. When you do something quickly, it can be very rushed. It can be very lacking details that are important. So in order to be able to have something done well, we have that discipline. You have structure, you have order, you take the necessary time it takes to prepare for something, and things like that. And a practical or applicable example of that could be if you know that, let's say you're planning to buy a big ticket item, something that costs a lot. And let's say you just kind of went about it very quickly. You're like, I don't want to overthink it, so I'm not going to think about it much at all. And then you just kind of use all you have on it. And then let's say an emergency pops up. And you literally have nothing to put toward that emergency. You're stressed out. And then you look back and you may realize, I could have managed this better. Had I done this, had I just waited to get that big ticket item until it was a more stable time, I could have been able to have something for that emergency. At least a penny to put toward the emergency, So that's an example of how a person may think in a scenario like that. I could have done this. I could have done that. So, obviously not everyone has an emergency fund. I already know how realistic sometimes it could seem distant to have one or to have any types of savings because of the economy and stuff like that. But I'm bringing up a point of when there's a lack of discipline and there's very quick decisions, that can affect the ability to be able to, plan for things like that, planning for emergencies or having things in place. So it's really important to take all those things into consideration. And it's interesting because it's not to say that this information isn't already out there. Like, I wouldn't call it oversaturated, though. I would definitely not call it that. But I would say this is, financial advice that's been spoken over and over so many times. So it's like people are knowledgeable of it, very knowledgeable of it, but sometimes people just don't put it into action. And I'm talking about when it's actually possible. I know some people's money is very, very tight, where it nearly seems impossible at a particular moment. I totally get that. But there are some people who, they're just not realizing that they're being wasteful with their money to the point where, if they really thought about it, they are actually able to put aside something in a savings account every paycheck, every pay period, They are actually able to put something aside every time for an emergency fund. So that's the point I'm making. Like, when there's discipline, there's the order and structure necessary to even be able to think about putting these things into alignment. And sometimes having a cluttered schedule can affect things like that, because a person may have so many things scheduled back to back. Understanding if a person has kids, like, that's their ultimate priority, and if you have a lot of kids, it may be very, very difficult to come about scheduling time for things for oneself. I get that, especially if you don't really have help. If you're the only person, I understand that completely. But for a person who they actually have pockets of time, maybe they're maybe they're not really, I guess, thinking about how to utilize those pockets of time properly. And so what they're doing is, that car behind me was so impatient. I was working on getting over, and they was like darn near like trying to go around me, like, because I was slowing down. It is what it is. But anyway, for a person who may have pockets of time, but sometimes a person may procrastinate, and they may not take those pockets of time to actually plan out what they got to do. That is an issue, to not have the alignment, to take out that time when you have the time. So that's what I'm saying. Discipline is key. So many people have this information, the importance of discipline and order and structure, but don't actually put it into place. And so the purpose of this video is to encourage you. Hey, if you're seeing this video, the Lord wanted you to see it. It was important for you to see it, because you've been probably thinking about it or looking long enough to realize that you have to have discipline in your life. You got to take out time for yourself to plan, to budget, and do all these things, and you're not doing it. So now is the time. Get your finances in order. Get your schedule in order. Get your health in order. Get your self-care in order. Get your house in order. Get everything in order. It's time. It's time. It's time. Don't wait. It's time. And on that note, I'll conclude with this. Know that you're important, you're valued, you're loved, you're cared for. The Lord sees you. He knows what you're going through. Lean on Him, trust in Him, and do what you got to do to be in His will. In Jesus' name, have a blessed one.